Hey everyone, Justin Holland here with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. Thank you so much for joining us and watching the video show today. We want to visit about a handful of topics today. I'm a little tired recording this show for this week because we were up till almost about 2 in the morning wrapping up the Affordable Care Act deadline and helping people across the finish line with that. It was quite an enrollment season on Medicare, and which there's actually still some opportunities, to look at Medicare options or some special enrollment, some disaster declarations there. I might talk about that on the show a little bit later. But yeah, I think we've got some good topics to bring up on the show. I'm a solo person today. Hopefully, we'll have a guest next week, and we're going to dive right into everything. But you're listening and watching the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. And we created this show just to talk everything insurance. We are I'm actually run a few brokerages here in San Antonio, Texas. The first one is Texas State Insurance Services, where we focus on individual health insurance for families and individuals, health coverage alternative plans for those that need that as well, along with small group and large group benefits. And then a lot of Medicare. We're helping a lot of seniors out there with Medicare plans and options. And I might even bring that up a little later today in the show or the recording and talk about that. We also started Palmetto Life Group. Palmetto Life Group was a division that I wanted to have separate that focuses on life insurance, long-term care plans. We help out with some retirement, Social Security analysis as well. And recently, we've added auto, home, and umbrella policies, as well as commercial insurance. So we'd love to visit with you about that as well. And those are some of the topics that we'll bring up in future shows. And I need to have some guests, and we'll talk about the P&C side, the property and casualty side of the business on the show as well. But it's everything insurance. And if you need to reach out to us, you've got questions, maybe you're just checking out the show right now for a minute, our phone number at Texas State Insurance Services is 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. The Palmetto Life Group number is 877-357-5316, and you can go to palmettolifegroup.com as well. So those are the details on the company information, kind of what's back in the show. And we're looking forward to kicking this off for the new year in January, having some great guests. And every week, we're going to try to bring value as it relates to the insurance industry and business, and how we can help you know options and concerns and updates that you might normally see in the news, or maybe you heard something about it and you wanted some more detail. And that's basically what we're bringing to the table for that. So to kick things off, I mentioned a moment ago that we were basically, dragging updated plans and longtime clients, new clients that came to us across the finish line for the Affordable Care Act deadline. The open enrollment for that ended midnight, January 15th. You got some Pacific time hours that you can utilize with that. So we were able to help some last minute applications there right at the end. But as we see it now, the only way you can get on an individual health insurance plan with the marketplace is through a special enrollment, and that's really going to be through a loss of coverage or any type of family event. We'll get you a list of those if you need it, but really the main thing is going to be loss of coverage. Years prior, there was some flexibility, the ability to get individuals on a plan that had missed the deadline, and those days are over. So if you missed the Affordable Care Act deadline to get individual health insurance or update your plan, I will tell you we've got some alternatives and solutions that you might want to take a look at. Let's dive into that for a minute. I've got some health coverage options that have been pretty aggressively priced for our clients. It's a new carrier that we brought on board. And we've got a handful of clients that are actually engaging this carrier to enroll in their insurance and earn health coverage. I will tell you, you need to be healthy. If you got some serious medical conditions, this might not be an option for you. the Affordable Care Act plan might be the way to go. But this healthcare option that we've got is being well received. And if you want some details on that, reach out to us at Texas State Insurance Services at 210-880-5316 or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com, and we can discuss some health coverage options for you and some solutions. Maybe what you have in place is just too expensive. I had a lot of clients that were saying, "Hey, Justin, I really can't afford this serious increase that we had on the health insurance, but we're going to try to keep it as long as we can." And I'll pull up the stats here in a minute on the declines of the Affordable Care Act enrollment. It declined sharply from what we can tell, but I think those numbers are going to get higher on it declining, or people just coming off of the Affordable Care Act plans just because of affordability. I think a lot of people auto renewed in plans that probably didn't reach out to their agent or broker to try to assess that. I'm waiting for some more phone calls and clients reaching out and say, "Hey, I just saw my account get hit on the plan. You know what happened?" Or I'm on the same plan. I wanted to change. Well, there's multiple emails, mailers, phone calls that go out to try to help make sure you can get that updated within the deadline. But it's just the deadline hit, and people might be scrambling for some options and solutions, and we'd love to help you out with that. The health coverage option is going to be for families, probably of any size. We've been able to quote or individuals. Um, the cool thing about it is it's got maternity care in there as well, baked in. So that was nice. A lot of times in health coverage, they won't cover maternity. They consider that a pre-ex condition, and this alternative allows us to take advantage of that, which is nice. It's a breath of fresh air to have that. The other solution outside of not having health insurance is everybody wants a PPO network. I wish I had a dollar for every time a client called in and said, "Hey, I'm losing my employer sponsored coverage. I absolutely have to have a PPO network, plan." And listen, you can find on the internet a handful of health coverage, not health insurance, health coverage plans that tout a PPO network. And ultimately, a lot of times these are underwritten by life insurance companies. You'll see a lot of people call and say, "Hey, I've got this coverage and plan," and I'll say, "Hey, flip over the card. What does it say on the bottom?" It doesn't say that. It's a lot of times it says this is not health insurance, and it will be underwritten from a life insurance carrier or an insurance carrier to offer coverage, which is not subject to the Affordable Care Act guidelines. Pre-existing conditions would apply, and they could restrict medications or coverage on particular situations that you might be going through health-wise. So there are PPO solutions, and I've been helping a lot of people get into a PPO plan. Here's the trade-off. It's expensive. If you want that PPO network, you're not going to qualify for a subsidy. You're not going to qualify for lower cost coverage. So if you need us to quote and take a look at it, I'd love to help you look at PPO plans. And we're talking PPO health insurance, not coverage. And we'd love to help you entertain that. It's just a lot of times when we look at that, it's cost prohibitive. And we've got a lot of clients who say, "Hey, you know what? I really need this coverage. We're just going to get through the cost. I need a PPO network. What can you do, Justin?" And we outline that and take a look at that and see what we can help to where we can give them some peace of mind with the network and the coverage that they want. I will tell you, a lot of times the scenario of needing to get somebody in a PPO network is because there's a family member that's ill or sick, and maybe they had an individual health insurance plan, and this is always the case, and they need to get into a children's clinic that just accepts PPO, group coverage plans. They want to go to MD Anderson for a cancer diagnosis. If you need that, you need to reach out to us. We'll be able to help you review some options and provide a solution. And a lot of people are happy with their Affordable Care Act plans, whether it be the HMO or an EPO network. HMO, obviously, you got to have that gatekeeper. You've got that primary care physician that will have to help out with referrals. I will tell you, EPO, which is gives you a little flexibility on not needing to get a specialist referral. A lot of times, the doctors are requesting the referral, and I'll get a phone call. Hey, Justin, I thought that I could see any specialist you can without a referral. Well, yeah, typically you can, but if the doctor's requesting that referral, that's within their protocol. You're gonna have to do that, and meet him halfway. You still got the flexibility, in most cases, and I haven't seen anybody not or not have an issue get resolved, from something like that. But, you know, we saw a lot of chaos with the high cost of health insurance. There was an update yesterday from Donald Trump. Could talk about this in a minute. I'm gonna basically go to the I haven't even been able to look at the site. We were so busy with the deadline, but it's the, great, healthcare plan, and there were some videos on this. There was a breakdown. I'm gonna bring this up in the show, and we're gonna kinda dissect what I found online on this because we're gonna do this together. I haven't even had a chance to look at it, and I kinda wanna dive in and just see what I can see there. I have a feeling it's just an agenda. I don't think there's any real substance there, but we'll dive into that. Let's keep going on the individual health insurance, the ACA, and that deadline, and then we'll dive into that here in a minute. This is Justin Holland with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. We're welcoming you today for today's show. It's our second show that we're recording for January of 2026. You're listening to us on KTSA radio, or you might be listening to us on our YouTube channel. I failed to mention that a minute ago. If you're listening to the show and you like what we're providing and the value, please go to our YouTube channel. It's basically the youtube.com/at Mad Insurance Show. Please stop by the show. Like the page. We're trying to get as many updates and snippets out online as we can. Just like everybody, I've got the selfish plug for our YouTube channel with the Mad Insurance Show. I think we've had some great guests. We've provided some exceptional value over the past few months, and we're going to continue to do that, especially into the rest of January and then kicking off February. So I'm looking forward to having some great guests on the show. But we appreciate you listening to the show. Again, my name's Justin Holland. We have Texas State Insurance Services here in San Antonio, where we focus on individual health insurance, Medicare plans for seniors, small group benefits plans, large group benefits plans, and even health coverage alternatives where those individuals, are on a plan that it's just too expensive. I brought up just a second ago, PPO health insurance. If you need that, have to have it, reach out to us and I'll be happy to help see what we can do to get you that health coverage with a PPO network. I mean, health insurance with a PPO network, not health coverage. There is a difference. Our phone number is 210-880-5316, and you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. Also, don't forget Palmetto Life Group. Palmetto Life Group is a division we created focusing on life insurance, long-term care, retirement, Social Security analysis, where clients need that, as well as the auto, home, and umbrella for personal lines and commercial insurance if you need it. So we'd love to help you out with that as well if needed. So let's dive in a little bit more regarding the Affordable Care Act. Remember, the deadline ended yesterday at midnight, January 15th. It was the open enrollment for individual health insurance. You're only going to qualify to get into those plans if you lost coverage or had a qualifying event, and we can send you that list of details there. The cost of insurance was tremendous for many clients. A lot of them enrolled in a plan, and they're going to try to keep the plan as long as they can or can afford it. I have a feeling the numbers are going to drop on enrollments within the Affordable Care Act. Let's go ahead and look online and see if there's been an update from that. So let's see here. 1.4 million fewer people enrolled in ACA plans and premiums, actually in ACA plans as premiums spike and those extended subsidy tax credits expire. 1.4 million is a lot of people. Okay. And I have a feeling that's going to get higher. That is just based on the immediate numbers from the marketplace. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get termed out or want to cancel their plans because of affordability and it just not being able to cover the cost of those premiums. But what I'm looking at right now, let's dive into this. This is an ABC News article that came on. About 1.4 million fewer people have signed up for the Affordable Care Act plans compared to this same time last year, in the face of the increasing premiums and the expired tax credits. New federal data shows. So that was updated a few days ago. Last year, there were about 24.2 million people who had selected a plan through the marketplace. By this time last year, including that actually included 3.9 million new customers that got on that. I think there was a mad dash to get on the ACA plans because of the change in administrations. And, a lot of people that got in last year, I don't think they anticipated the cost to skyrocket the way they did going into the 2026 new year. So that's something to talk about. As of January 12th, and as I record the show, we're sitting here at January 16th. Hopefully, they'll have another update over the weekend. There have been 22.8 million consumers who selected a plan, and 2.8 million new customers of that. So, the reason you're seeing that drop is because you had extended tax credits that were given ultimately, and I'm just going to call it what it is, the middle class. You had individuals that were families of anywhere from two, possibly to four plus individuals in a family unit, and they were making 105, 110, couple $100,000 in some cases, and qualifying for lower cost subsidized coverage. We're talking premiums went down to, I think they were still a little high, but they were reasonable, they were attainable for these families that really didn't have a shot at affordable coverage years prior with the Affordable Care Act. Those that relief came in the prior administration, and you had COVID still going on, and it really helped out quite a few people. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on with COVID. It took years to basically unwind, and unwinding they did. I mean, Medicaid. You had a Medicaid unwinding. People were just getting through the COVID era, were just getting approved for Medicaid, really no questions asked, and they finally reeled that in and took a lot of people off of Medicaid. That no question probably helped bounce up those numbers for the Affordable Care Act enrollments last year or a few years prior as well, because people were losing Medicaid and realizing they needed to get their family members, a spouse, or children on a marketplace plan. Granted, the group sponsored coverage that they might have access to or would want to utilize is just unreasonable or unaffordable. But I think there's a lot of factors that are going to pop up and basically emerge, and Medicaid, specifically in Texas, is not expanded to adults. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that or come to find that out when they call us and reach out to our brokerage. They're like, okay, well, I'm just not, I'm in between jobs. I don't make any money right now, and there are cliffs that you can fall off. You can make not enough money to qualify for affordable coverage, or you can make too much money and not qualify for affordable coverage. And a lot of adults, I think, get left out. And I think we'll see this that might have gotten on an ACA plan that can't afford it anymore. They're not going to be able to get Medicaid. So that's a big, tough situation for a lot of people. Right now, I've got very good clients that I've had for years, good people, okay, hardworking people that can't afford their health insurance and they really need it. They've got medical conditions and stuff going on medically, and they do their best to manage that their health, but they just kind of got a bad shake. A lot of times it can be hereditary, it can be an accident, and they need to have health insurance in place, and they are going without coverage. As of midnight yesterday, with the Affordable Care Act, they're stuck without health insurance. We can look at health coverage alternatives in some cases, But a lot of times that's going to require underwriting. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we've got PPO health insurance options. We can help you look at that. We can help you shop it. A true health insurance PPO network plan. However, it's going to have a higher cost, but you might say, you know what, let's take a look at the cost. Maybe we can make this work. We'd be happy to take a look at that for you and see of the alternatives that a lot of people are getting on health coverage. You've got ministry plans, sharing plans out there. This is not that, by the way. We've got an alternative that you might want to consider and take a look at. And you can reach out to us at Texas State Insurance Services. The phone number is 210-880-5316, or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. And we'd love to help you look at the PPO network insurance options. So I'm going to dig a little bit more into this article on the ACA marketplace, basically talking about how the extension of the tax credits were not provided and that the enrollment numbers for the marketplace plummeted. Not right at 2 million, getting close. I think you're going to hit that 2 million mark of less enrollments probably in the coming months. I think we're going to see people fall off that just can't afford coverage or renewed and realized they renewed and didn't make an update. Um, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I'm concerned because I'm seeing a lot of people get hurt because of this. And Congress in the House last week passed the extension of these expanded subsidies. And they were like, hey, we got to do this. And you had people on the right side of politics. I hate to say cave. They just said, hey, we got to help these Americans out. We got to help our constituents out with more affordable coverage. And a lot of them said, no, we're not going to do that. We got to scrap this. We got to be done with it. And they don't have a solution. There's no solution yet with these expanded tax credits that helped millions of people out with affordable insurance. And then you had the higher cost go on top of that. I mean, you've got people paying, I had an individual paying $1,000, $1,200 a month for one person just on the premium of their health insurance alone. We're not even including maybe copays. Maybe they had a medical procedure, God forbid, and they got to meet a $7,500, $7,000 deductible before the coverage will kick in. When you're already spending $12,000 a month in premium, and you've got another exposure of a catastrophic maximum. Remember, there's the deductible, and then you got your catastrophic maximum. So let's call it $8,000. That's $12,000 a month in annual premium. And then, God forbid, a medical emergency comes up that meets that maximum. That's another $8,000 in exposure. We're talking $20,000. Now, in retrospect, if you got a $100,000 hospital bill and you're only out of pocket 20, that's a win. If you got a serious ailment, major surgery, heart situation, those can absolutely get into the multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hey, that's a trade-off. But again, the amount of money people are having to spend just on their premiums alone and still have exposure is tremendous. And that's why we were scrambling to try to find some health insurance alternatives. And we do have some health coverage alternatives that we can look at and help you quote to see if they help you with a lower cost premium. The trade-off is you need to be healthy. If you're not healthy right now or got some medical conditions, and I will tell you, a lot of people will reach out, yeah, I'm healthy, everything's good. And then when we start going over the underwriting questions, they're like, okay, well, what do you mean there? What about this question? It's pretty cut and dry on the underwriting questions, just like when you have life insurance. You've got preset underwriting questions that can make or break an application. When you look at health insurance alternatives to health coverage, those knockout questions could eliminate you from a more affordable option off of that. But again, it's going to be an interesting year for health insurance and in our industry. And just the articles, I haven't seen anything new come up since yesterday on the Affordable Care Act. Let's wrap up on this ABC article. The KFF analysis, that's Kaiser Medical Group out of California, they provide some great information and analysis. They've been doing the 12 years that I've been helping people out with health insurance. They've always been dynamite on bringing value and details on the industry. And they're showing last year found that people who bought insurance from the marketplace and received financial assistance would see their premiums rise by about 114% on average. Let's take in an example of $188 in 2025 to $1,904 in 2026. I totally agree with this article because I've seen it. I've seen it with the quotes with hundreds of our clients, and it's tough. And this was a really challenging year for me as an agent and broker owner. I know it was challenging for other great agents and brokers out there as well. But we're going to help out as much as we can. We're going to provide solutions, and then we'll see if there is some legislation that comes in to maybe, hey, they come out of nowhere and the Senate passes the extension of the extended subsidies and say, hey, listen, we don't agree with this, and I can understand that, but this is hurting a lot of people. We need to put a Band-Aid on this, but the thing with it, you just can't extend it or just patch it up and then kick it down the road. Patch it up, take care of it, and then now we gotta rehab it. We've gotta have a plan to be able to provide affordable health insurance, and there's a lot of dynamics to this. You got Medicare, that's a part of this equation. You've got the Affordable Care Act for the lower income that doesn't qualify, for Medicaid assistance. You've got, the ACA that's affecting small group plans out there and that coverage. There's a lot of moving parts, and I don't see a good solution, hitting up overnight. I think it'll take years to really turn things around or get things better as far as health insurance. And I hate to say that I'm in the insurance business. You know, um, I just don't. I think there's a lot of moving parts that we just can't see a quick solution. And I was really hoping to see, selfishly, that was helping my clients. We build up our brokerage with enrollments. No question about that. But I'm seeing people absolutely get crushed on their cost of health insurance where they are having to pay their health insurance and maybe foregoing other bills or going into credit card debt, significant credit card debt on that, or they're going without coverage, which is the worst scenario to be in. And it's hurting a lot of good people. So I'm hoping the message that I try to provide out here with the show and go online resonates. I hope we can get some of our congressmen on the show in the coming weeks and just sit down and take a look at what they're thinking on the plan. And they have the power to help make these changes. And I'm hoping first off they get the extension going. I think there's still time for that. It'll be chaotic for everybody trying to get back on a health insurance plan or qualify for subsidies. They'd have to do a special election period. But I've been doing this long enough that they can do it pretty quickly. They can flip a switch, and I've seen it from years where they'll do an extension. Hey, we're going to extend this a few days. We're going to extend this a few months to allow people to get in and get that can be done because I've seen it in prior administrations, and I'm hoping that they can allow that and push that through because it's going to help a lot of people that are really getting put in a bad spot financially that really need affordable health insurance right now going into the year 2026. So, you are listening to the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. Welcome to the show. You're listening to us on KTSA 550 probably right now, or on the online syndicated podcast, or you're watching this online with our YouTube channel. And just to get a plug on the YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/at Mad Insurance Show. Would love for you to like and follow our videos and take a look at the value we're trying to bring with that. Again, my name is Justin Holland. I'm the host for the show. I'm a solo host right now. I'm hoping to have a co-host next week in the coming weeks with some of our carrier partners and just some great people that can talk insurance because that's what we do on this show, everything insurance, and see if we can give some good solid updates to everybody out there. Don't forget that the brokerage that I run is Texas State Insurance Services. You can reach out to us at txstateinsurance.com on the web, or you can give us a call at 210-880-5316, along with our other brokerage, Palmetto Life Group, where we focus on other products, life, auto, home, umbrella policies. If you need help there, go to palmettolifegroup.com, or you can reach us at the Palmetto Life Group number of 877-533-5316, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 877. Apologize. It's been a long morning so far. 877-357-5316 off of that. Let's keep going before I fall asleep on the show. I'm running on fumes today, so I apologize. I brought up a little while ago the great healthcare plan. I have not even had a chance to look at this yet. Okay. We were very busy yesterday wrapping up the Affordable Care Act deadline. Um, I wish I could have seen it before the show, before recording the show, but I'm going to dive into this while I'm recording, and let's see what we can take from this. I have a feeling it's just, a list of what they would like to have done or, have possibly completed with changes to healthcare. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can find some details here with some excerpts from the site, because basically what they said is whitehouse.gov / great healthcare. Um, let's take a look at this. It's got a video of Donald Trump, I'm sure, talking about this. He's calling on Congress to lower healthcare costs. Okay. He's not taking action right now. He's just saying, hey, I need Congress. You guys need to fix the health insurance. That's what I'm coming from that initial, header, so to speak, on the opening of this webpage for whitehouse.gov / great healthcare. President Donald Trump is calling on Congress to enact the Great Healthcare Plan, a comprehensive plan to lower drug prices, lower insurance premiums, hold big insurance companies accountable, and maximize price transparency. We keep on going here. It's saying lowering drug prices. The Great Healthcare Plan calls for codifying the Trump administration's most favored nation deals to get Americans the same low prices for prescription drugs that people in other countries pay. Now, I did see a snippet of the video yesterday in between appointment and client visits where he was saying, hey, the Americans are going to pay, or U.S. citizens or people that are on needing health coverage and health insurance here in the States, the United States, shouldn't pay any more than what other countries are paying for their medications. Okay. And I will tell you, there's a lot of countries around the planet that are paying significantly less costs for the medications that are significantly higher here in the United States. So, hey, I like that. I mean, if they can stick the landing and make that work, great. Um, let's keep on going here. The Great Healthcare Plan makes more verified, safe pharmaceutical drugs available for over-the-counter purchase. Okay, that's great. This will allow healthcare costs and increase consumer choice by strengthening price transparency, increasing competition, and reducing the need for costly and time-consuming doctor visits. Possibly. I mean, if you got to go to the doctor, you got to go. It's just a matter of trying to get into your primary care doctor or going to an urgent care doctor, or, maybe you have something major. You got to go see a specialist off of that's coming up that could require surgery or some type of specialty coverage. Let's talk about that. This is just popping in my head right now. A lot of times, and I got sick a few times this year, had some stuff come up, and I would go to the urgent care more often than I would go to my primary care doctor. And it was just convenience. We are in a doctor shortage. I have a nurse practitioner. I don't even have a doctor. And they're so backed up. If I call in when I'm sick and I'm like, hey, I need to get seen. Okay, well, I think we can fit you in next week. I'm like, that's not going to work because I'm sick right now. So my wife and I, we will absolutely, I mean, I think this was a record this past year on how many times we went to the urgent care versus going to our primary care doctor. And I will tell you, I've got an individual health insurance plan. I can get us any health insurance we want. And I personally, as an agent broker, have an individual health insurance plan that we're paying a good premium on, and we're utilizing the coverage and care. And I had a medical episode that came up this past summer. They took really good care of me and gave me some peace of mind there. I have to tell you, I am not just offering and helping people get into insurance products, I'm using them. And last year, that was a breath of fresh air. I hope my wife doesn't see this. I mean, she's usually the one punishing us on the health insurance, but I no question caught up with that with what came up for me this year. But on the urgent care visits that I was going to, and she was going to, we were in and out very quickly. I mean, within an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Okay. And that is great. They were able to see me. I was able to get it done that day. A lot of times you can check in online with the urgent care facility and then they'll let you know when you need to show up. That's really convenient. I'll tell you right now, I was in Mexico over the Christmas holidays. This is a funny story. And I had something on my foot that I needed to get checked out. We were a little concerned. It looked like he was getting infected. And I had to cross into Eagle Pass from Piedras Negras, and that took 3 hours to get across it that morning. So that was a whole nother episode. But the urgent care in Eagle Pass wasn't going to open until like 1 or 12 o'clock or 1. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drive to San Antonio and go see my urgent care up there. I was able to leave Mexico, drive to San Antonio, get across the border, drive to San Antonio, get to my urgent care, got scheduled in. I don't think I waited 30 minutes, if that. Got assessed, took care of me, prescribed some medications, got that medication, and went back to Mexico that afternoon. I stopped by the house, stopped by the office, picked up some items because we were visiting family. But man, it was a good experience. So a lot of times, instead of going to your primary care doctor, you can go to urgent care. And granted, your plan has an urgent care copay, or you've got a good network on urgent care facilities. But that's just a quick story of me firsthand, going utilizing that. And I try to let our clients, our trusted and valued clients, know that hey, that's a very good option. Make sure you've got a go-to urgent care place by your home or even by your office. I tell some of my group clients, hey, let's assess what facilities are close to your plant here or your where all these employees come into work. And we know if something comes up, maybe they come in sick, or maybe something, God forbid, happens at their work site. We know, hey, where we can go to an urgent care facility and possibly knock something out and not have to wait for a primary care doctor visit or not have to go to an emergency room and take on that cost if at all possible. Now, if it's life or limb, you need to go to the emergency room. So that's a no-brainer there. But that's my 2 cents on primary care doctor, urgent care coverage as well. So I went off in a tangent here while we were going over the whitehouse.gov/great healthcare website. So lowering insurance premiums. The Great Healthcare Plan stops sending money, sending big insurance companies billions in extra taxpayer-funded subsidy payments, and instead send that money directly to the eligible Americans to allow them to buy health insurance of their choice. Okay, I get that. I see where they're coming from, but unless the major health insurance companies have a particular plan or network and options to provide that aren't subsidized, I don't see how we can do that. So I'm sure they're working on that. I hope they're working on that. But, they're saying, "Hey, we," and a lot of money goes to these insurance companies, and they're right. It's taxpayer funded subsidies that are going to that. I think a lot of people got tax credit funded subsidy payments that shouldn't have. There was a lot of fraud going on for a few years within the Affordable Care Act, and that's come to an end. It looks like. I will tell you, it looks like they got a handle on that with CMS and the federally facilitated marketplace. The Great Healthcare Plan funds a cost-sharing reduction program for healthcare plans, which would save taxpayers at least $36 billion and reduce the most common Obamacare plan premiums by over 10%, according to Congressional Budget Office. That's a statement. I would need to see the numbers. I mean, 10% based on the 114% increases that we saw on some plans. I don't know how that would relate or how would that would look for savings for the consumer, but hopefully we'll see some traction there on what that might look like. But I will tell you, 10% on the most popular plan premiums of Obamacare, when you were facing 40 to 100% increases in some areas, I don't think 10% is going to cut it. Again, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping they are, vigorously attacking this and trying to bring in some solutions, but I haven't seen anything in the news where health insurance executives and carriers are getting over to Washington to try to figure things out. I haven't seen anything like that. Maybe that's happening and we just don't know, but we will see. Let's keep on going here on the site. I think this is important for us to review on today's show. The Great Healthcare Plan will end the kickbacks paid by pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs, to large brokerage middlemen that deceptively raise the cost of health insurance. This is a problem. I will see a lot of people call out the PBMs and health insurance carriers, even brokers, regarding the cost of the pharmaceutical, the pharmacy benefits. So again, that will be interesting on how they take a look at this and address it. Um, on those costs that could be savings. Some of the highest costs for my health insurance clients is their drugs, is their medications, and that's a whole nother ballgame. And we're talking the Affordable Care Act plans, like what we just wrapped up, individual health insurance. Those costs can, be expensive, especially when somebody might have to get on a plan for lower premiums and have to meet a drug deductible. That drug deductible can get into the thousands, and it was for the handful of our clients that needed to meet that. But it's not just the Affordable Care Act; it's the group benefits plans where the drugs can get you and the medication costs. It's also Medicare. We've got a lot of people that are still getting popped on higher Medicare pharmaceutical costs. I will tell you, with that $2,100 out of pocket maximum, that was a huge game changer. Okay, that has been well received and it's helped a lot of our clients, our Medicare clients, have more affordable prescription drug coverage because some of them were just getting hammered on high cost of medications. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars in some cases, and sometimes those medications weren't even covered at all. I mean, it would take when you had that donut hole with Medicare, it would take clients a couple $1,000s to get into the donut hole, and then a couple $1,000s to get out of the donut hole into catastrophic coverage. So let's see how that plays out. Holding big insurance companies accountable. The Great Healthcare Plan creates the plain English insurance standard by requiring health insurance companies to publish rates and coverage comparisons upfront on their websites in plain English, not industry jargon, so consumers can make better insurance purchasing decisions. Now, I understand this statement here on holding the insurance companies accountable. I will tell you, as an agent broker and helping hundreds and hundreds of people with their coverage and care, um, we've been able to help educate our clients and the consumers with what they're looking at on jargon, deductibles, maximums, co-pays, co-insurance, all of that stuff. But I can see how that's overwhelming for those that don't have an agent broker to help them. And I will tell you, in most cases, or in our case with Texas State Insurance Services, we don't charge to do the reviews, the insurance reviews. Could that change in the future? Yeah, of course it could. Maybe. I have no idea what we will face and challenge, as far as, creating an income for our brokerage to help provide solutions. But a lot of times, if you've got an agent broker that is well versed in the insurance, and I will say well versed because a lot of times right now you need to be familiar with small group plans, large group plans, the Affordable Care Act insurance options, health coverage that's out there, as well as Medicare. There's a lot of noise out there, and we pride ourselves on being able to help you, factor in all those scenarios that apply to your health insurance costs and what exposure and what details you need to know are going on with your health insurance. Let's keep on going on this. The Great Healthcare Plan will require health insurance companies to publish the percentage of their revenues that they paid out to claims versus overhead costs and profits on their websites. That will be interesting if that provides any value to the consumer. I understand they want to publish that, but right now we just need affordable insurance. We just need a solution here, and we need to know what our guardrails are on where we need to stay in between the lines to help provide affordable health insurance to the consumers out there for individuals, families, seniors, as well as small group and large group health insurance options is alike. The Great Health Plan will require health insurance companies to publish the percentage of insurance claims they reject and average wait times for routine care on their websites. I'm going to repeat that. The Great Healthcare Plan will require health insurance companies to publish the percentage of insurance claims they reject and average wait times for routine care on their websites. That's interesting. I do I think they will do that? I don't know. But yeah, it would be nice to know. That was a big thing last year with a major carrier on rejecting claims. And I will tell you specifically here, and I could be wrong, maybe some other agent brokers are having some issues. I really haven't had a disruption with clients on getting rejected claims. I haven't seen it yet. Now, that could not be the case this coming year. Maybe we have a handful of clients that are having issues with their Medicare plans or individual plans where they were rejecting claims, but I haven't seen that yet. We're a good sized brokerage, but maybe other larger brokerages are seeing more of that out there. The last thing that they put in here is maximize price transparency. The Great Healthcare Plan requires any healthcare provider to ensure or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post their pricing and fees in their place of business. Okay, let's repeat that one again. Maximize price transparency. And if you're just jumping on the show or the video right now, I'm talking about whitehouse.gov/great healthcare that was just released yesterday, January 15th of 2026, from the Donald Trump administration on this. The last paragraph or basically request they're doing to Congress is maximize price transparency. The Great Healthcare Plan requires any healthcare provider or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post pricing and fees in their place of benefits. I think that's great. I think people knowing what their costs would be, it would be helpful, especially if Affordable Care Act plans go away. I don't know what the alternative solution is here because if the ACA plans go away, okay, great. What are these plans that are going to be posted online and showing pricing and fees? We already have Affordable Care Act, small group and large group plans. We have Medicare plans that in most cases break down, hey, here's your doctor copay for your office visit. Here's your specialist copay for going to see a specialist. Talked about urgent care earlier. Here's your urgent care copay. Some of these plans have zero deductibles currently right now where you know exactly what your costs are. And we've seen that spike in options with zero deductibles on the individual side of business as well as our group benefits clients where it's nice knowing, hey, I don't have a deductible to meet. I know exactly what my costs are going to be. Might be a little bit higher for an emergency room visit. Maybe it's a copay of $250, could be $2,500, but at least you know what that cost is. So, I think we're already seeing that with the current health insurance options that are out there. Even the health coverage options break that down typically. But if all this changes, if these plans go away in the future, I just don't know how that's going to look. So this just got released yesterday, and we'll see how this plays out. Everybody, you're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland. I'm a solo host today. We'll probably have a guest next week in the coming weeks to bring some value and some updates on the show. We talk everything insurance on this show. So we're so glad you're joining us. You might be listening to us on the local radio station here in San Antonio, KTSA 550, or you might be watching a video clip online that we're posting, or I hope you are seeing us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel, just to get another plug out there, is youtube.com/@Mad Insurance Show. We're so thankful that you're listening to the show or watching us online. We've been talking about the Affordable Care Act deadline that just wrapped up last night. I'm tired. We were helping a lot of people get across the finish line with a new plan for new clients and helping out, longtime clients get into a different plan or option before the deadline. And wow, it's been a crazy enrollment season for the open enrollment with individual health insurance options. If you missed this part of the show, you can go back and reference it online. But I talked about earlier about the Affordable Care Act deadline. Let's do a quick recap. It was January 15th, yesterday at midnight. So if you missed that deadline to get individual health insurance, your only way you're going to be able to get individual health insurance plan is with a special enrollment period, which we can help you with. I'll tell you right up at the back, the easy one is if you lost coverage recently, then we can help you get onto an individual health insurance plan. If that's not the case, you missed that deadline to get into insurance or update your plan. Now, if you were looking at a health insurance alternative, we would be happy to help you with health coverage. Now, granted, underwriting questions apply. There are some limitations. It is not health insurance, it is health coverage. Health coverage is where they can scrutinize you and take a look at underwriting questions and knockout questions. But if you're relatively healthy and you're not wanting to pay exorbitant premiums, that's something we need to take a look at and try to help you shop and review. And you can reach out to us. I'll give you the details of who you can reach out to for us on that here in just a minute when I wrap up the show. Another important detail that I brought up was PPO health insurance. Okay. It does still exist. Every time that I get somebody calling in that's needing health insurance or lost their employer sponsored coverage, they want a PPO plan. I get it. I understand it. I know why, because you want that freedom and flexibility of having an open network. But they don't exist on the Texas individual marketplace plans. Okay? You've got health coverage out there that will utilize a PPO network, but they're basically piggybacking off of a major network and utilizing that. And there are differences there. If your agent isn't taking a look at health insurance, health coverage, Medicare, the group health insurance plan that you might have access to, but you've waived coverage on, those are important factors that play into your decision on health insurance. And it can cost you thousands of dollars if you choose poorly or incorrectly off of that. So, something that we pride ourselves on is helping people look at every scenario and just know that at Texas State Insurance Services, we are very well versed on the individual marketplace plans, health coverage alternatives, Medicare plans for seniors where that applies, as well as small and large group benefits. Okay. And all the Medicaid and other alternative coverage that's out there that we can take a look at as well. But we're so thankful that you're visiting with us today on the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. Again, I'm Justin Holland. Texas State Insurance Services is our main brokerage here that handles individual health, Medicare plans for seniors, as well as small and large group benefits. You can reach us online at txstateinsurance.com or just give us a call, 210-880-5316. We've got some health insurance and health coverage workshops, Social Security workshops that have been very well received. I do that at companies directly and come in and just really give some peace of mind and awareness on that for the employees. And then we do that for the general public. So if you're interested in stopping by and joining us, just reach out to us online on our contact form or visit us or just give us a call. Remember, we've got Palmetto Life Group as well, handles life insurance, long-term care planning, Social Security analysis, retirement, as well as recently auto, home, and umbrella policies. It just made sense for us to add that. We are a broker. I've got clients that are like, Justin, you already broker and look at all of our health insurance options every year. Let's just have you handle our individual auto and commercial lines and even their home and umbrella policies. If you're not happy or you want to take a look at that, give us a call at 877-357-5316 or palmettolifegroup.com. Now, closing out the show, I can't thank you again for visiting with us. I'm looking forward to next week's show. I basically wrapped up the show talking about the whitehouse.gov /great healthcare plan. excuse me, because I hadn't had a chance to even look at it myself because we were wrapping up the Affordable Care Act deadline. So take a look at that site when you have a minute. We'd love to get to your thoughts and inputs. Reach out to us if we can help out with your affordable insurance options. We'd love to visit with you, and we'll see you next week on next week's show. And I don't have a guest set up just yet because we had to wrap up this deadline yesterday, but we're looking forward to seeing you on future shows. And again, the Matt Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. You have any questions or concerns, or you just need some help regarding your insurance needs, give us a call, 210-880-5316. Hopefully, this provided some value and a good update for everybody listening on the show or online. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Take care.